New reporting, though, by the Daily Caller shows Abbott perhaps got the short end of the deal. The Mexicans are not living up to their end of the bargain. And at the lower levels, Mexican police often protect the cartels rather than arrest the smugglers. Jorge Ventura of the Daily Caller just got back from the border, and his investigation joins us now. So not much has changed.
Not at all, Leland. We spent considerable time on the Mexican side kind of seeing the behavior of the Mexican officials and authorities. And they completely abandoned all the riverbanks and let migrants continue to cross by the hundreds. We even went embedded with some of these groups jumping in the water. But not only that, Leland, even when these migrants are deported under Title 42 and dropped off at the port of entry, human smugglers are waiting for the migrants to negotiate a new price, and they bring them right over. And the Mexican officials know that. We reported on it, how Abbott has basically touted this as a success, and it hasn't slowed down the flow of drugs or illegal migrants. Leland, the only day that we saw Mexican authorities stop any type of crossings was on May 23rd. And the only reason they did that is because Governor Greg Abbott showed up in Eagle Pass. So the Mexican officials all lined up in Pedas Negras across and kind of put up the show of force. And as soon as Abbott left, we went straight to the Mexican side, and they completely abandoned those riverbanks and just continue to let the crosses go. And according to our sources, Leland, the state police in Pedas Negras is actually cartel control. So they're actually even facilitating a lot of the human smuggling. But it hasn't made a difference, and it hasn't been a success as the Governor Greg Abbott has continued to tout to his voters.
I think it's fascinating, and one of the reasons we really enjoy having you on is because of how much time you spend in Mexico talking to the people who are coming over and hearing what they're hearing. 1,200 illegal immigrants are released every day into the United States. So they come over, they get processed by Border Patrol, they get released out. You think about this just from April alone, 234,000 encountered by Border Patrol, half released into the country. That's double what was released last year into the United States. How do the cartels sell this to the migrants on the other side?
I mean, this is all facilitated through Facebook, organizing. All this really starts off, Leland, is in Tapachula. So Tapachula is the first town the migrants reach after crossing in from Guatemala. And from there, that's where the migrants and human smugglers are able to kind of get these massive groups and then pushing up to the border and kind of pick out areas. According to even my sources, there's about 10,000 migrants living in Pedas Negras, basically crossing in every single day. Another kind of issue here, Leland, is there is no pressure from the United States on Mexico for Mexican officials to stop the migration. We saw President Amo even reject the invitation to the Summit of Americas, which is a huge loss for the Biden administration when it comes to the migrant debate. But also the president of El Salvador, president of Guatemala and Honduras, all declined to meet with Vice President Kamala Harris discussing migration. This is also after the VP gave $1.9 billion to the Northern Triangle countries, and she gave them $1.2 billion last year, and they still refuse to meet with the vice president to discuss this issue.
What would change this? If the cartels own the state police across from Eagle Pass, why would they ever enforce the law?
Well, that's the million-dollar question. It all really starts off on the U.S. side. So when I speak to Border Patrol, I would say, what needs to be done to change this? And the answer is simple. They just said, can we just enforce the laws that are already on the books? They literally tell me, like, we don't do any type of border enforcement. People walk in, we pick them up and take them to the processing center. It's essentially a taxi and Uber service for the agents. I mean, even with National Guard there, the migrants are still coming in. Families are turning themselves in, and the fentanyl and these kind of single getaway males are still making their way in. I mean, just 3 days ago, Border Patrol seized over $300,000 worth of fentanyl at a port of entry in Hidalgo County. So this issue has continued to continue.
That picture really struck me, that the head of the Border Patrol put up of the 332 migrants in one group. What are you seeing on the Mexico side of the cartels trying to organize these significantly large groups to distract Border Patrol over here so you can bring in a bunch of drugs over here?
Yeah, well, they pick out particular times. What they do is the cartels are really smart in waiting for the shift changes of Border Patrol agents. That's why you kind of see these kind of large groups come in really early in the morning and kind of later in the day, past about 5 p.m. when they have these shift changes, and they come in massive waves. My last appearance with you, Leland, we discussed, we ran into hundreds and hundreds in Yuma, Arizona from 11 different countries. So they're not just coming from Northern Triangle countries, they're coming from outside of that and even all the way from Europe. I mean, that day we met migrants from Afghanistan and Russia. This is also a national security issue. Because when I'm speaking to Border Patrol, it is not possible to even process this many people before releasing them to the United States. It's simply not possible.
Right, because there's more people coming up behind them. Hey, it's always good to see you. Great reporting. We'll talk to you soon, all right? Get a good meal while you're in D.C. and a drink, too. Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.